Let's have a look. Give me a second. Let's have a look. Yeah. Okay, just give me a second. I'm still getting all prepped up, as you can tell. Let's see if we can do this. Sorry, I'm really late today. I must have needed a lot of sleep. I must have been very tired and I didn't even know it. Greetings everybody, this is Lumination. It's a Wednesday, midday news update hangout, 29th of July 2020. This is the Terlumination channel. In case you've never been here before, I do recognize you guys. I do see you there. So let's get back to business. Hello. Let me just see who's there. Love Triber. Excellent. Nikki, greetings. Marlena over there in South Africa. Hello, hello. Sorry about the very bumpy start. And Edwards. Aha, yes. Tina. Congratulations, Tina. Yay. Nikki, thank you very much. Well, we can do that. Why not? Yes. Heavy energies abound, for sure. Let me see if I can just add a little bit of color here, just to brighten things up a tiny bit. I will add some sweet spots, okay? Just to make it look like it's not the end of the world yet. I got some green over there. I've got some a little bit of this, and I got a little bit of sort of this. It's like, okay. Now I'm setting this date. I'm actually doing this for August 1st. This is 1st of August 2020. Now, some of you have been here before. You might recognize my patterns. I do them over and over and over again. And it's mostly because we are in a historical moment with astrology, where these little friendly fellows over here have been causing havoc for the rest of the world. This is only, true if you actually believe that the planets have some kind of impact on our lives. I personally take astrology quite seriously because I've seen so many correlations between the movements of the planets and the celestial bodies relative to my own life experience. I take it very seriously, and that's why I call this the weather. It is a very spiritual thing in some ways. It's very technical in other ways. There's lots of math involved. But when I distill everything, I essentially come to look at it as weather. Hello, Robin. Greetings. So let me just check in with you guys. Let you know I'm here. Yes, here we are. Give me a second. I just want to reset myself. I can't do it properly. That'll work. Okay. So, greetings, everyone. Terlumination is over here in Las Vegas right now, broadcasting across the world. Marlena is somewhere down here. Okay. Nikki is over here. Robin, I believe, is over there in Texas. And Tina is over there in Texas right now. And who have I missed? Love Triber. Right, Love Triber is over here. Yep. So, who's 1, 2, 3? Oh, I know you. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. You would be Norway. Is that correct? Did I get that right? 1, 2, 3. Are you perchance of the Mona Berknes family over here? Yep. Welcome back. Haven't seen you for a while. So, what's it like in your parts of the world, people? I'm here, I'm listening to stories, but I'm just going to share a couple of insights here. I've been hanging out, chatting, and I'm not really a news junkie anymore, but I feel like I have to do a little bit of news watching to correlate the things that I say with the things that I feel, and that it has to match up with global experiences, okay? Lumi Squad here in Oklahoma. Okay, Oklahoma's right there. Okay, right up there. Cool, thank you. So, let's just say it's getting very, very bumpy out there right now. And it's been that way for the whole of 2020. As you know, I wrote that book, Global Restructuring 2020, and the nearest correlations I've seen to it are people who work in the financial fields in places like New York or Singapore or Hong Kong, where they're very, very involved with money. The central banks over here in Europe, and central bank over here in Washington. Basically everything to do with big, big money. China, of course, too. And it's actually the big money people who are the most advanced in terms of awareness of what's going on across the world. I'm not really a financier. I don't know. I'm not a stock trader. I don't have any serious money to speak of. But I'm still very interested in it because I see it. I can see the patterns, and they're very intriguing for me. I really enjoy studying this stuff. And when I wrote that book around 2014, 15, and then I did the edits around 2018. I published it about a few years ago. Now everything's starting to unfold. And it all makes perfect sense. So even though these are very, very, very stressful, challenging conditions, very unique conditions in terms of the astrology, what's happening right now here in 2020, we haven't had anything like this for, I would say, thousands of years. We've had similar bumpy patches like World War I, World War II, the bubonic plague, the Renaissance, the empires. If you study mundane astrology, you can notice patterns. Things like the birth of the Egyptian Empire, the Greek Empire, the Roman Empire, the Austro-Hungarian Empire, the Russian Empire, the Spanish, and then the British Empire that went all over the world, and then eventually the American Empire over here, which is now officially all over the world. And we are the ones who spawned the marriage between America and China to the point where everybody in China, the whole of China is now connected to the world. So it's like a double duty, empire. And I think the empire consists of a very, very disturbing marriage between the United States and China. I think of as some of you know, I sit here rambling sometimes about the United States debt farm. We basically have a massive debt farm. It's owned and operated by the Federal Reserve and run by the federal government. Over here in China, it's a massive evil empire of slave camps, and it is owned and operated by the CCP, the China's Communist Party. It's a miracle of wonders over here, just like we are a miracle of wonders over here too. But there's a very dark, sinister shadow side to both of these equations, and it looks to me like a classic example of a very sick marriage. There we go. So anyway, I don't want to scare you. Okay, so let's go back to the chart a minute, and I want to explain something. Okay, so I'm making this little astro doodle for the 1st of August, 2020, which is only, what is it today, Wednesday? Oh, it's on this weekend, roughly on this weekend. The moon is going to come up here in Capricorn, okay? So this is the moon. There's Jupiter, there's Pluto, and there's Saturn. So that's a huge Capricorn stellium yet again. We've been having these over and over and over and over again, at least once a month, every time the moon comes up here in Capricorn. And we still got Saturn, Jupiter, and Pluto, okay? By the end of 2020, Saturn's going to be gone over here into Aquarius. Jupiter will be drifting into Aquarius, okay? But we still have Pluto, and Pluto's going to be living here for years to come. And the big crunch point is in a couple of years when Pluto hits 27 degrees. Right now we are at roughly 24 degrees. Pluto moves really slowly, okay? So we're looking at another 4 years of intense Capricorn pressure. I consider this the reality check police. This is the reality check police in full force. It's happening right now across America especially. And why is it so significant to America? Well, let me show you. just like that, magic, I converted this into an American solar chart. Wow. Wow. Isn't that amazing? So I put America's Cancer sun sign on the horizon. I shifted everything over here in Capricorn into the 7th house of marriage and relationships and open enemies, okay? Basically what I see going on here is America is being exposed to all the fragilities, flaws, corruption, lies, betrayal, deception of America against itself. America against Americans, okay? The leadership, the institutions, the huge corporatocracy, the plutocracy, the oligarchs over here, basically the Federal Reserve, the federal government, all the self-appointed leaders and magnates, plus all the corporations. They all work together as a team over here, and they are part of America over here. This represents America. This represents, I would say, America in its own mirror. And we are seeing the extreme ugliness of America being reflected back to us. We as America are seeing ourselves as Americans versus Americans, and how we have become our own worst enemy. And when you are born with a natural dynamic of sun, I'm using, this is Mercury here, but it's highly relevant. You could also take it over here with the sun in Cancer, but right now I'm taking Mercury in Cancer as a pivotal point because America is born with Mercury in Cancer about 24 degrees, which is where it is right now. Mercury, the sign of business and communications and money, okay? The shuffling of money. And so everybody's probably noticed how America is convulsing when it comes to the subject of money, okay? And over here, look at this. The sun is now in the solar 2nd house of American money, okay? And America is born with the moon in Aquarius over here. So everything that's happening right now is perfect. Everything is exactly as it should be. And why is that so? It's because it cannot be any other way, okay? So Marlena is saying something over there, and honestly, I kind of agree with it. It's the same thing here. The powers that be in America, there's a big cultural war going on inside America, as well as a huge war of violence for dominance of culture. Hold on, let me go back to this. So this is for the world. Okay, let's not talk about America specifically, even though I'm actually talking a lot about America. America. Okay, hello JS, I see you. So this pattern here, this little piece of sacred geometry here, applies to the whole of the world. But it applies exceptionally strongly to America because America is born with this axis, okay? America is also born with the North Node in Leo, which is being lit up right now. So this really amplifies the pressure on the United States. Basically, America is convulsing in itself with itself. You can see it in the on the news and things like that, the politics. All the extreme left-wingers facing off with the extreme right-wingers, the right-wingers facing off with the left-wingers. It's America versus America. Americans versus Americans. And we are being shredded, ripped apart as a country, what I would call destruction, the collapse, the implosion of our existing infrastructure, which is corrupted, rotten to the core, and is inevitably going to be crushed and demolished just like a bulldozer crushing an old house to be remodeled and rebuilt. Okay? And it's happening right now. Jupiter is going to demand the truth, the real truth, not subjective truth, not some kind of impositional truth, but universal truth. And I think the universal truth will prevail, but it's going to be a very, very messy process. If you see from here right now, there's tremendous, basically warfare. If this is the energy of warfare, okay, going on inside America. This is America against Americans. Mars is in Aries, very hard square to all this Capricorn. I look at this as violence, open violence, okay? Over here, the Sun is hard squared with Leo. I see this as the Earth, planet Earth, Uranus and Taurus, being really pounded. So we have lots of natural disasters going on, which include the natural disaster of humanity imploding. Just look what's happening in China. All the floods upon floods upon floods upon floods, and so on. Now, because I like to share this with you, I like to look at this stuff. What I do is when I look at this, hold on, give me a second, I want to share. When I do that, when I do my homework, I do a lot of homework studying these things just so that I can be aware. It's literally like navigation. What it does, it allows me to have a certain degree of immunity or self-confidence or assurance or a sense of calm in here that everything that's going on over here, all of it, is exactly as it should be. And then I realize, okay, so what's the best thing I can do? For me, what's the most loving thing I can do for me is observe the weather and navigate through it to protect and defend myself. I'm going to exercise my constitutional rights as an American citizen who was born in a place where we have this thing called our Constitution, where we award ourselves the rule of law, freedom of speech, freedom press, the right to peaceful protest, the right to bear arms and to protect ourselves and defend ourselves against the tyranny of elected leaders who no longer serve us. Okay? So a lot of that's happening in America right now. I'm aware of it. Everybody in the world is aware of it. Basically, it looks like America is going through a massive convulsion as it spills its guts everywhere, and everything that is sick and dirty and corrupt about America is being exposed. Okay? You've got to reveal it to heal it. If you think of Jupiter like is the great benefic, a lot of people think of Jupiter as associated with health and abundance and healing. And Jupiter in Capricorn is going to basically demand the truth about reality. And so it's a really stern reality check on Washington and the Federal Reserve about all the fakery, all the lies, all the bullshit that is propagated, okay? Excuse my language. Sorry about that. Sorry, YouTube. I didn't mean to do that. Please don't shut me down. Okay. Okay? Yeah. Hello, also. You got your measuring scale out there. So, basically, everything is exactly as it should be. The massive convulsions that are going on here are basically exposing all the corruption, all the rot, the dry rot, the mold, the fakery, the abuse of America against Americans, the American leadership, the American corporatocracy, the American oligarchs versus the people. We the people. But the thing is, we the people have the real power if you decide to own it. A lot of people don't realize that. People in America especially, we are so stupefied, so completely lulled into a sense of false security by the processes of the corporatocracy. In other words, if we have enough televisions, internet, smartphones, vacations, cars, computers, toys, activities and events that have nothing to do with the real foundations of our life, then we don't know. We just keep carrying on. We operate as debt cows, and we just keep producing the milk, and they keep taking the milk, and they enrich themselves at the expense of the people. What I'm hoping, and that's part of the reason why I wrote this little book, what I'm hoping is that your average American person starts to pay closer and closer and closer attention to what's actually happening. What's actually happening in America is that a massive fraud is being revealed. roughly about 150 years, basically from the year 1913 to where we are today, when the United States Federal Reserve was first enacted. And they just became more and more and more bold at who they are and what they do and how they do it. And they've reached a point where they really can't take the game any further. And so there's a bit of a panic going on over here in Washington, which means a panic going on over here in Beijing, which means a panic going on over here in Europe, because we've all reached the end game. Because everyone else had to start playing the same game that we play, or else everything falls apart. It's basically monopoly money, confetti money, that's being used all over the world, and there's no honesty. There's no honesty accounting. All money is fake now. All money. It's all fake, fake, fake. And so there's more and more conversation about, my God, we're going to go back to a reset, a massive global restructuring where we set everything back to zero. And some people are saying, hey, Path Traveler, that might be you, like, eventually there's going to be there might be no way out of it. We're going to have to reset to the gold standard, or create a new form of gold standard and a new form of money. And it's already happening. If you look at things like Bitcoin and the exchanges for cryptocurrencies, especially Coinbase, you will start to see what I mean. Let me make a few notes here. Stay there. It's happening right now, people. So what I'm going to suggest is, for your own education, because I have to do this for my own education too. What I would do, you don't have to spend any money to do this. I would look at a place called Coinbase. Okay? And open an account. It doesn't cost you any money. And then you can go to the FAQ pages and the lessons. Okay? And education about what's happening with global finance, because all of global money is going to eventually become digital. We're not going to be able to stop it, so you might as well start learning now. So what is happening here in the United States, for example? Inside the United States, the United States Federal Reserve Bank, okay? That's the bank of all banks, plus the U.S. Treasury. Those are the people, along with the IRS, who take your money and spend it. Okay, they take your money and then they spend it back on the country. Okay, so sorry, I smashed the tape. I smashed the desk here. Give me a second. So what has happened here in the United States, because the United States is determined, well, I don't think they really want to do this, but they're going to have to figure it out. What they're trying to do is figure out the questions, okay, all about what's going to happen about the future of money, okay? And where's it all going, and how's it going to happen? Well, it's gonna go digital. It's going to be called CBDC, which is Central Bank Digital Currencies. And everywhere, okay, so what's happening is that in the United States, over here in Washington, they're trying to figure it out right now with the folks over here in San Francisco. And this fellow, there's a fellow, his name is Brian Armstrong. He is the creator and the boss of Coinbase, and he probably knows more about all of this than anybody put together. He didn't create Bitcoin, but he operates and owns the biggest exchange for cryptocurrencies in the world. And what it's doing, it's helping to create a stability in the world of digital money. Hello, Robin. Hello, Ivona. So it's happening right now in America. The Federal Reserve lives over here, okay? Right there in Washington, you can't really see it, along with the federal government. And they are in a real pickle right now about how to figure this stuff out, because they can't keep playing their game anymore. Over the next 4 years or so, everything is going to change in terms of global finance. America is moving towards digital money, digital currency. There's a lot of fear that goes with it, because the fear is that everything will just go to one bank and they will be able to track every penny, every transaction of your life. It's very, very frightening for a lot of people, including myself. And they don't like that. They don't want, basically the banking system do not want to let go of their power and their control over the debt farm. This is the United States debt farm. This is the debt farm of America. And cryptocurrencies and digital money, especially Bitcoin, is the biggest threat. Okay? I'll just put cryptocurrencies over here. Okay? And what's happening is that we are in the very, very early birth stages of a new world of money coming up ahead. And nobody knows what to do or how to do it. Nobody. So they're figuring it out live right now in real time in Washington, D.C. And what's happened is the Federal Reserve Bank of America, the U.S. Treasury, the IRS of America, they are now deep in consultations with Coinbase. The guy's name is Brian Armstrong. Okay. And what they're doing is, these guys, you could say that these are the, in some ways, if you want to look at it that way, these are the bad guys. Okay? If you want to look at it that way, even though, you know, I live in America and I really benefit from the American economy, the American Federal Reserve, the American Treasury, but deep at the root there's a tremendous dishonesty. And so I'm going to put these as the good guys, green, okay? And what's happening is that, in very simple terms, these folks are the enemy of these folks, because these folks have figured out a way to create honest money, real money, instead of the fake money that's printed over here. And these guys own and run and control everything in America right now, which means effectively for the rest of the world. We do this over here, and it affects everybody else on Earth over here, including China. And that really pisses off China. So we have to figure it out. We have to figure this out. Eventually, this is going to merge into this, okay? But at this moment in time, these guys here are the enemy of these guys here. These guys represent honesty, truth, honest money. These guys represent fake money, okay? Printed money, confetti. This is the journey of crippling devaluation, destruction of the American dollar to benefit themselves. To benefit themselves. They're not doing it to benefit America. They're doing it to benefit themselves. This is a private corporation. Okay? It's owned by private banks. They work in collusion with the federal government, that is the U.S. Treasury and IRS, to do what they do. They own the debt farm. These guys own the debt farm. These guys run the debt farm. This is the debt farm. It's called the United States, okay? But every other country on earth has something similar. So what's happening right now in America, it's a war. We are at the early stages of warfare between honest money and fake money. And it's happening right now, and it's going to get ugly. The secondary side effects are spilling over into human behavior about what's real and what's not real. What is true, what is not true. And there are a lot of people in the United States who have extremely strong beliefs about what is true from their perspective. And that is their right to do that. We live in a country where we reserve the right to our own beliefs and everything. But they're becoming so extremely polarized that it's creating a lot of friction, because the people on this side believe that this is true, the people on that side believe that is true, and they're starting to get very violent, okay? Literally violent, to the point of what I see here as increasing violence in the public place, like all the big cities around the country that are erupting in continuous violence, okay? So, there we go. So, this is coming up here in a few days, okay? Basically this weekend, around the 1st of August, the moon is going to be drifting through here in Capricorn. And then, basically, 28 days later, it's going to do the same thing, okay? So, and Mars is going to be here in Aries for all of that, okay? So, please allow for things to get very, very choppy, very unstable, very warlike, very hostile between everybody and everything in America, okay? Basically, these folks are getting very, very aggressive about their actions. These folks are growing in strength. They're trying to figure out a deal. How are we going to make this work so we can have, so that these folks can get at least some degree of control, so that they can continue to collect taxes, and yet at the same time for the public to have some degree of honesty, okay? Nobody has the answer yet. Frankly, we're at the point where probably the best and simplest answer is to go back to a gold standard. I know, some of us have been talking about that. Let's have a look here. Yep. So you get back to this really very, very, very old conversation about gold. What is real money? What is money? Well, money is what you believe it to be, but there are certain definitions. Money is a store of value. Money is divisible. Money is exchangeable. Money is storable, and it is durable, okay? Things like that. Now the thing is, what we often think of as money is actually currency, and currency is just tokens, just little fantasy tokens called, you know, dollar bills or your bank account. It's all basically a fiction. It's all based on, you know, fiat currencies and fractional reserve banking, and I've talked about it enough already, okay? It's in my little book here. You know, I'm not trying to sell the book right now, it's already sold, but the whole point is that the whole world is waking up to the fraud that our elected leaders place upon us for their benefit. China is coming unglued right now, and it's not going to stop. There's a very, very interesting astrological relationship between America and China, okay? I'm not going to do it on this show. I'm hoping I can do a show about it soon, but it's pretty freakish. And so what I see is happening over here is, as the United States is starting to implode, and everything that's fake is being exposed, okay? Global reality check police are doing their job. Jupiter in Capricorn, at the end of the year, it's going to be a very powerful energy to basically listen to the truth, universal truth, not the subjective truth. The actual truth is going to come out, okay? And heads will roll. And the same thing is now happening in China. China, as a lot of you know, is run by the CCP, the China Communist Party. And it's basically a brutal, totalitarian dictatorship. Basically a bunch of thugs in suits, and they operate a massive slave camp. In America, we have the debt farm. They have a slave camp. And in America and all over the world, a lot of people benefit from the marriage between our debt farm and their slave camp. But their slave camp is coming unraveled just as much as our debt farm is coming unraveled. Over here, for example, Uranus in Taurus, hard squared with Mars in Aries, the way I look at it, it's causing massive climatic war. really hot, violent type energies. For example, the torrential rain floods and everything that are happening over here. And it's causing devastation to tens of millions of people, not just a couple of thousand. Millions and millions and millions of people are being displaced because of climate issues over here. China has a lot of problems with pollution and climate stuff, as you know. And so China is becoming more and more belligerent in its attempts to hide the reality, to hide the really ugly truth of what happens in their world. And the uglier and more challenging and the more disruptive things happen over here because of this stuff, which is not going to go away. This stuff affects China just as much as it affects America, but it's in a different way. The more and more this pressure increases, the more and more China will feel crushed and crushed. And it's already happening. Okay, so there is a movement in China right now. There's about 370 million people. That's the whole population of the United States. 370 million people have now signed a petition publicly, openly, to disband, get rid of the CCP. Let's leave the Communist Party. What a lot of Chinese people are saying is that we are Chinese. We're not the Chinese Communist Party. We are just Chinese people. We are aware of how evil it is over here, and we are sick of it. We are just as interested in disposing our corrupt leaders as you guys are interested in exposing and getting rid of your corrupt leaders, okay? So it's a kind of a similar storyline, but with very different events happening. And so there's a lot of disruption happening over here in China. Huge convulsions of disruption, politically, economically, environmentally. It's all happening over here right now, in real time. And the worse it gets, the more aggressive becomes the CCP. They're going to act, they're going to become more and more and more aggressive as they try to push their agenda all through here and through here with India, Hong Kong, the South China Sea, Japan, South Korea, and even including into Russia and the Middle East over here, okay? China is turning into a real, thug, bully operation. In other words, it would just be like somebody on your street, wherever you live, you've got a bad neighbor, and they're just becoming a lot worse. The worse things become inside their own home, the worse their behavior becomes outside the home. That's what's happening in China, and it's affecting the whole world. And we're now at a point, again, remember, I'm not a professional newscaster. I'm not a full-time 24/7 news junkie. I just cherry-pick things that really jump out at me, that correlate very strongly with my personal opinions about the astrology and how it all connects, okay? And so what I see is that everything is perfect. Everything is exactly as it should be. How and why is this so? Because it can't be any other way. From the perspective of universal truth, it's perfect. All the goop, all the mess, the corruption, the evil is being exposed. The reality check police are ripping open, tearing everything apart, okay? You can't hide. There is nowhere to hide. So what's happening is that even though America is often blamed for a lot of problems in the world, people are starting to think, well, actually, we got problems over here too. And a lot of countries are starting to re-examine their own politics, their own behavior, when they start to realize, oh my God, we're getting hijacked by China. Basically, every country over here, Africa, parts of India, the Middle East over here, pretty much everywhere, Southeast Asia, parts of China, even New Zealand, okay, all the way over there, especially Germany, Western Europe, and Britain, okay, have all been heavily infiltrated by Chinese corporate interests. And they're not doing it to just do you a favor. They're doing it so that they can take over their world. Their whole agenda is to take over the world and turn the whole place into one massive Chinese controlled and operated monster, controlled from Beijing. Okay, there's that whole Belt and Road Initiative, which is a genius plan in its own way. Like, we're going to save the world, we're going to connect everybody to all the resources. But what it is, it's a master plan to connect all resources to come back to China because they're so desperate. Okay, they need a lot of food. They have to import a lot of food. They don't create a lot of intellectual property themselves. They steal it, mostly from here and from here. And they've become extremely successful at theft. It's basically a massive criminal operation. And they've become extremely successful, and now they are getting outed. And everybody across the world who has even a slight awareness is going to start to realize, or they're going to have to start to realize, or they are already realizing that you have been infected. You have been contaminated. Everywhere over here in Africa, they took the bait. China comes in with big money loan packages, and they do a debt trap diplomacy game. Here, we'll lend you a couple of $1 billion. We will save your country. We'll build some new highways and roads and an airport and some sewage and water stuff and all of that. And then you can pay us back when you collect your taxes. And the thing is, China knows full well that these countries don't have a chance, not a hope in hell, of paying back the loans. So China comes in and says, oh, by the way, guys, did you read the small print? You didn't read the small print. If you can't pay us back, we own you. We're just going to take it. We're going to foreclose on your country. We're going to foreclose on your assets, your gold, your cadmium, your lithium, your mining, your minerals, your timber, your food. Sorry, stupid, you should have read the small print. But people don't read the small print. They take the bait. They take the money. Okay? It's the same game they play over here in America. When you buy a car, the only thing people care about in America when they buy a car is to get the smallest monthly payment possible. And they don't realize the big math about how bad that is for your wallet. Anyway, it's just a massive game. It's a massive, massive game that's going on. And it's being exposed. All the evil and the fraud and corruption over here. Fraud and corruption, fake money over here, fake money over here. China has just as much fake money flying around its own world as we do in ours. We're kind of lucky in America because pretty much 88% of the world converts everything through the US dollar. So we do have an advantage, but that's also an advantage, and it's a privilege that we have abused over here in America. Well, not we the people, but the governors, okay? The US Federal Reserve and the US government, the federal government, they have abused that power. And now we're coming to a reset, a global restructuring, and it's going to be very painful for a lot of people. That's what's happening, okay? Yeah. I haven't been watching the chat. I'm sorry, folks, but I'm trying to stimulate a conversation here between you guys and yourselves, but especially between yourself and yourself. Please, I would urge you to, blink, close your eyes for a few seconds, and then step back from your day-to-day world and look at things from a broader perspective. Like, what the hell is really going on here? And then you start to realize it's just a massive game. And then we realize, well, okay, if it's a game, where do I fit in this game? It's a puzzle. I know I have made my own personal decisions. I do not like debt. Okay? I do not like being a debt cow. I do not like being a debt cow on a debt farm. There's only so much I can do. I do not have any debt in my life, okay? So I'm not operating as a debt cow, but I still live on the debt farm. I call this the debt farm. I still live here. There are a lot of advantages to living here in America compared to some other countries, even though we have a lot of problems. So I'm doing the best I can to, find a balance point, given who I am as a person with my beliefs, my opinions, my studies, and I'm just sharing opinions here. Now, some people might not like it because I have, said bad things about the Federal Reserve and the federal government. I've said bad things about the CCP, But if we're honest, everybody knows that, okay? Over here, you're not allowed to talk about it. If you say bad things against the CCP, they will make you disappear. Over here in America, we are allowed to say bad things about our leaders. We are allowed to have peaceful protests up to a point. And we reserve the right to bear arms and carry arms. And our right to bear arms shall not be infringed. And I guarantee that's not going to happen. It's not going to be infringed. No matter how much people are terrified of the availability of arms in this country, I do not see it going away anytime soon. It's fundamental to our Constitution. It is ultimately, even though it's a very despicable, scary thing, it's ultimately how we hold our leaders accountable. Remember, going back to 1776, again, I'm not a really big historian, but the Constitution, which was exactly one Pluto cycle ago, over here, in 1776, the whole idea was these people here in America were sick of the tyranny coming from these people over here in the British, okay? So these people over here, now called America, we said, enough is enough. That's it. We're creating our own country with our own constitution. We are not going to be subjects and slaves of a monarch. We are going to elect our leaders, and we're going to bear arms in case our elected leaders screw up. We are willing to go up to their office and hold a gun to their heads if necessary to hold them accountable and truthful. Because they work for us. We don't work for them. They work for us. We pay their salaries, okay, through our taxes, through our sweat, okay? So we have a certain advantage in this country, but it comes at a price. Sometimes the war between truth and lies becomes so vicious that it becomes physically violent, okay? That's what's happening, okay? Okay? That's what's happening in this country. Things are getting very violent right now, and it's going to continue for the rest of this year. It's very volatile. Okay, I'll just go back here for a second. Okay, that's this thing here. This volatility over here, Mars in Aries, is going to go grinding back and forth for the rest of this year, constantly aggravating this Cancer Capricorn axis, back and forth all year until 2021 when everything changes. So please be prepared for a very bumpy ride for the rest of this year. Now, somebody wanted a reading. Let me go back. Retracting notes for my protection. Thank you, Nikki. I saw there. Retracting messages are kept in the database. Da, 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 da. Okay. Now, I'm glad some of you are putting on some fun notes, because there are a lot of fun things happening, with Leo season. Sun and Leo over here. It's lighting up the American North Node. To me, it looks like a wake-up call. America, come on, wake up. Wake up. Have courage. Have leadership. Live in the light. Live in truth. Do it in a way that's honest, creative, innovative, okay? You can't lean on the past anymore. Leo is very, very bright, bold energy. Okay, so I'm not going to go over these notes again here. I want to go to, where are we? What was that? Marlene, China took us over. Yeah, well, we let it happen. Okay? We take the bait. Say, now, I had some other notes. What was it? About the retrogrades. No, we'll do that later. We'll do that on another show. Let's have a look. Now, there was something earlier, much earlier on from Nikki. Where is it? Did I miss it? There it is. One for me, for style, and a donation channel for whoever needs it. Okay, so we're going to do 2 readings now. Okay. 123. Yes. I saw your notes. Yes. Dear 123, if you have any personal planets in Leo, will it affect you more? Yes, I would say it becomes more amplified. So, let's have a look. I just happen to have this one handy, dear 123. This is a Tarot Lumination Astrodoodle for August, okay? Leo season. So I put Leo on the horizon here. So if you have a lot of planets in Leo, dear 123, yes, the energy, you might feel it more strongly. Now, I would watch out for certain dates. Okay, very early on, if you look at it over here, we have a full moon coming up soon, next week, on the 3rd of August, okay? The moon's going to be in Aquarius, opposing the Leo energy. So if you have a bunch of planets over here, you might be sensing it as like a big wake-up call in your relationships, like a clarity, you know, because this is the house of open enemies, and it's also the house of marriage. And so there's a reason both those energies live in that house. It's because when you have a good marriage, it's extremely valuable, and you see how important relationships are. When you have a bad marriage or a poor relationship, then you learn a lot of things because you can't hide from this energy. So you, the Leo people energy here, can learn a tremendous amount from the Aquarius energy over here. It's like being face to face with a full-length body mirror. Over here you don't get that. It's distorted. Over here you don't get it. But right over here with the Aquarius energy. So for all the Leos, pay attention to these dates, okay? The 3rd of August. Okay, and also please note that around the 3rd of August, there's going to be a very hard angle here. And these are very tough angles. Okay, this energy here, this is Uranus and Taurus, so this could be very disruptive, shocking, surprising for the Leo sense of career, destiny, your place on earth. Who am I really doing here? Think of the cracking of an egg, and you are evolving and growing and adapting, and there's the old you and there's the new you that is giving birth, okay? Just like the way that, is it snakes give birth through eggs? Chickens give birth through eggs? And it is, or especially crustaceans. They live and they grow, and then they pop, and then they shed their old skeleton, then they have a new skeleton. There's a lot of disruption going on here. So for the Leos, I would expect a very choppy, bumpy month. Now, so long as you're aware of this, you can ride the weather like someone who's very good at swimming or surfing or sailing. You can get through this. You can take advantage of these things. Like, how much can I learn about myself around the full moon? Have a look at your most important relationships, okay? And at around the 3rd of August as well, have a look like what is being revealed to me about my sense of destiny and mission and purpose on this planet that I was never aware of before, because you are being urged to expand and grow through like shocking awareness, okay? Later on in the month, okay, we're going to go to the new moon in August around the 18th. Okay, so that's going to be the sun and the moon aligned over here. So towards the middle of the month, okay, the 18th, pay very close attention, because if you want to, as a Leo, or if you have lots of planets in Leo, you can see this as the time to mark on your calendar for new starts and new beginnings in this part of your life. For example, even if you're not a Leo, this lives in your chart somewhere. It could be here, or here, or here, or here, or here. Okay, or here, or here, or here. So anyway, yes, the more Leo elements that you have in your chart, the more likely that you will feel these things. I mean, I could do personal reading stuff with all this forever, but okay, here's some other important dates to be aware of. The 9th of August, Okay, this is going to be very choppy for everybody. Very, very, very choppy. And for the Leos, it might affect you on your work and health axis. Like what are you doing in your life that makes you sick? What is being revealed in your life that is unhealthy, toxic, and poisonous? Okay? And then understand what that is, and then what are you going to do about it? How are you going to improve your health? Things like that, okay? And Aries over here, okay, Mars and Aries can help you. Yes, it's very challenging. It might push you, you might feel an urge to do a lot more physical exercise or become more physically determined to be more fit, okay? And less unhealthy. So, anyway, thank you, 1, 2, 3. I hope that helped you a little bit. Okay? It's just think of this as a weather report, okay? That's all. All right, let's go. I've got a couple readings to do here. Yeah, also, Nikki, by the way, towards the end of the month, this is just for Leo, but if you go way towards the end of the month, things are going to get very choppy, very, very bumpy for certain groups of people. Some of the things are going to smooth out, but very, very deep down at the soul level, there's going to be more of the crushing that's going to go on, okay? That's for everybody. All right, let's have a look here. I want to check because we're going to do a little mini reading for Nikki, basically freelance, freeform, whatever comes up. So I'm going to put a big question mark there. Basically, what are the messages right now? And we've got another one here. We're going to fill this blank. Your name goes here. And then, somebody just put in another one. Hold on, let me have a look. I wasn't planning to do any readings on the show, but I love having the donations. N. Edwards. Okay. Capricorn Sun, Capricorn Rising. Oh, wow. Oh, okay. Interesting. Sun and Ascendant. That's interesting. So at this time, we could almost turn this chart into a chart for you, just by doing the magic of tarot illumination. Wow. So we'll come to that in a little bit, all right? Let's start with Nikki. Wait a minute, I want to have a look. How am I going to do this? We have to pick somebody. I want to pick somebody. Hello, Starzy. All right, let's see. Now, I'm not sure who's here, everybody, but what I'd like to do, because Nikki has been very generous, and she's offering a free reading to someone who deserves it. What I would like to do, I'd like to reach out to the viewers, whoever is watching the show right now. If you've never done this before, if you've never, ever had a reading before, and you're just here hanging out, you're clipping your toenails, picking your nose, eating your ice cream, and so on, and you've decided, wow, this is kind of a weird channel. Oh, what are they doing? And then you realize, oh my God, somebody is saying that the host is saying there's a reading for somebody. So over here, you see this little magic post-it note? What I'd like to do is reserve that one for somebody who I'd like to do it personally. This is what I'd like to do. If it doesn't work, we'll try something else. But what I'd like to do is offer this to someone who's never done this before. If you've never typed in this channel before, you've never hung out, you've been too scared to have a tarot reading, okay, then please introduce yourself into the chat, say hello, let us know who you are, let us know where you are, and we'll figure out, if you're a good fit to have a free reading. So basically it's an invitation. Let me just check in again to make it more clear. So, Nikki, thank you very much. We're going to get your reading going in a moment. But Nikki's been very generous, basically offering a reading to someone out there who needs it, okay? And what I'm doing is I'm taking advantage of the situation instead of saying, like, if there's anyone out there who's never done this before and you're just sitting there observing, but you'd like to hang out or have fun or participate, type your name in the screen. Let us know who you are, where you are, and if you have the interest in getting a reading, okay? If not, we'll pick somebody from the chat who we already know, and we'll do a lucky draw or something like that. So we've got 1, 2, 3 readings in a row, and then we'll wrap it up, okay? So I have to keep an eye on the screen because I don't really see anybody show up. Okay, I'm not really seeing. I'm just trying to check the chat here. Okay. I'm glad you guys are getting really, really good at chatting amongst yourselves because I'm trying to do too many things at once, and I'm going to have to switch gears so I can do these readings. So I probably won't be able to pay too much attention to the chat. Okay. All right. Let's have a look. Okay, I'm going to go back to the stage. I'm going to start working with Nikki. Alright, let's put this stuff aside for now. We'll come back to that later if we need it. Oh, I put this one aside too. That's for today. Let's make a little bit of room here. Slajana Sivanovic. Yes! Oh, that's a cool name. Well done. Slajana. It sounds Russian. Polish or something, I'm not sure. Okay, that's it, Slajana. You got it. I see you. Slajana Zivanovic. I hope I can spell it right. Slajana Zivanovic. That's it. We did it. That's your magic post-it note, Slajana. Wow. Serbian. Wow. Serbian. Wow. Terra Illumination is broadcasting in Serbia. Oh, that's exciting. Let me see if I can pinpoint it here for you. Okay, so this is the world. Serbia is in here. There's a little tiny piece of map over here. I'm not sure if it's big enough. There it is. There is Serbia, right there, okay? There's Greece, there's Italy, there's Romania, Bulgaria, and there is Serbia. Wow. Wow. Oh, maybe you're... Anyway. Thank you. Oh, I'm so excited. Hold on, I have to make some space now. I'm going to make some room here. This is Terra Illumination. Put this over here. I'm going to make some room. And we're going to do this. So first up is Nikki. Yay! Alright. Let's see now. Cards are already well shuffled in advance, so you already know the routine, Nikki. It's just going to come out as a complete, basically whatever it is. It's just going to be what it is. We're not going to attach any kind of expectation to the reading. Basically, what kind of messages are coming at you, coming for you. We could do the. You know how last time we did it for like. What are the message from your guides? Well, how about let's just let this open. Let's allow this one to be from heaven, from the angels, from the huge panoply of angels. What kind of messages are coming to you today, Nikki, for your benefit? So that you can live a better life. Always, always upward. Onward and upward. Let's have a look. Okay. Here we go. We're very close now. I don't do jumpers and flyers and reversals. I just keep it very simple. Sometimes it's overwhelming just to even work with a little tiny spread like this one. Here we go. Just breaking it up, breaking it evenly. Bless these cards. Bless every single card. Bless the whole deck. Bless you, Nikki. Thank you for all your support and kindness and generosity. Thank you, everybody here today. Let's bless the channel. Bless the technology, the softwares, the cameras, the lights, the cables, the computers, the platforms, all of that stuff, everything. Okay. Blessings to you, Nikki. Okay. Well, I felt something just then. Okay. Here's the situation. Here's the challenges. Here's how we're going to deal with it. All right. Okay. So I've got the Eight of Pentacles here. My feeling is that I try to go with first feelings, even if they're awkward. But what I feel here is a little bit of a hamster wheel kind of going on, where you have to understand that I would say with great gifts come great responsibilities, and you're one of these people who's naturally very gifted at who you are and what you do and how you do it. And with the Eight of Pentacles, it makes me feel like one of the challenges that comes with this is that it's taken you a lot of work to be who you are, where you are in your life right now. This is the energy of, I would say, love is as love does, measurable evidence of living a life of good decisions and continuing to make good decisions. But the thing is, with all the stuff that's happening on planet Earth right now, this very, very intense weather, the planetary weather, to me, when I look at this for you, is just an indication that just because you've reached a certain pinnacle in life where you have evidence and proof of the good person that you are, the value of who you are, the value of what you do and how you do it, you're not at a point where you can basically sit back in retirement and just let life cruise on autopilot. To me, it looks like the astrological weather is an indication that the work goes on, the work continues. It's very important that you continue to invest in yourself, in your life, in your world, one day at a time, one measurable token at a time. For example, how and where can I channel my physical resources, my time, my skills, my talents in such a way that I don't waste anything. I cannot afford to waste anything. I'm not going to waste anything. In fact, I have to keep working. I have to keep investing, self-investing, to grow and evolve and adapt and change so that I can thrive. In other words, the show goes on, and we're looking at improvements. The improvements are going to be, to me it looks like consolidating finances, taking a very deep long-term look at finances, figuring out how to optimize your talents, your gifts in terms of what you could call work, the workplace. So that it's like, so you have when you go to bed at night, you can have a feeling of like, yeah, I did everything I could today, and I invested in myself. I made the best decisions I could make with my time, my resources, my relationships, my situation, my friends and family and everything. And it's all work. All of that stuff takes work. So it's the energy of a life well lived. Okay, hold on. Give me a second. I mean, I'm making a lot out of this one card, but I'm really feeling it. Like the message is that every day counts. You wake up, you do your thing. Maybe you put 20 minutes aside for self-healing. And then you focus on diet. And then you focus on, making yourself ready for the day. And then you focus very carefully every hour of the day, 8 hours of the day, optimizing those hours. So like if you allocate 1 hour to rest and relaxation, you optimize that. You make sure you have a really good nap or something. Or in other words, the Eight of Pentacles is not about you working yourself to the bone. It's about, to me here, it's about optimizing your talents and gifts and resources, okay? So that you can grow and prosper on top of from where you are right now. All right, so what's the situation? Okay, well, you know that changes are inevitable. And my feeling is this is a very graceful energy. I know it's a scary card for a lot of people. This is the Death card, number 13. And what I feel here is a very, very graceful kind of acceptance. The situation is that you know deep down that your time is extremely valuable. You know from like hanging out at this show, living your own events, experiences in your life, that things are going to change forever. There's no going back. Over the next few years, the whole of planet Earth is going to change in terms of how it operates its financial systems, okay? It's inevitable, and you're a very smart person, so you know, probably more than anyone, that you're going to have to go through this transformation, okay? It could be with personal finances, personal work and finances. How does that look? And what I'm sensing here, I've sensed a very, very graceful energy. It's basically the energy of accepting and understanding that in your life right now, it's about transformational energy healing. It's about shifting from one perspective to a new perspective. And it's not easy to do. It means dying. It means letting go of things that are basically redundant. The Death card is basically like a salami meat slicer in the grocery store. It just slices away and hacks away at everything, and whatever's not good, bye-bye. And that's part of evolution. It's vibrational energy healing. It's very much evolutionary type healing, very Pluto type energy. Okay? So, luckily, I felt that this was very graceful, very deep, very profound. So I'm not scared about this at all for you, but it does mean change, irreversible changes. Now, what's the challenges here? Obviously, you want stability. Finances are very, very important for you now. They should be important. I think it's very important that you pay very, very close attention to your personal finances, to your, the relationships that you have with your finances, literally how those things work, and consolidate your resources so that you can optimize your time and resources, gifts, and talents. But with the Four of Pentacles in this position, there is a little bit of a fear of the instability that you might be experiencing as you go through these transitions and transformations. Don't worry about the mean look on his face. What it's really about here is building foundations, building new structures for a future. And to me, it looks like being very, very concerned about the limitations on resources that are available to you right now at every moment in the day. And then actually having to figure out how, given the resources that I have in front of me, knowing that there's a lot of fear attached to the lack of resources, and that's happening for everybody on Earth right now, what am I going to do in order to optimize the resources that I do have? And so it would be okay to be a little bit disturbed and frightened about instability, lack of resources, or the shifts, or the instability that can come as you go through these transformations. But remember, this is just fear, okay? It's not necessarily real, okay? So how are you going to deal with this? Okay, to me it looks like minimalism, finding ways to eliminate and remove anything and everything from your life, your belief systems, your attitudes, your relationships, your assets, anything that slows you down, anything that restricts your ability to evolve and transform and change. It has to be discarded, like thrown over the side of a boat, and you only carry the things with you that really, really count. In the long term, what really counts is the truth. Okay? The way I look at it here, there's a lot of swords here, moving forward in a way that's like brutally honest, brutally true, and very, very simple. Like an awakening, a realization, wow, I actually, in my life, I only really need this, 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 and this. What are those essentials? A lot of it is to do with attitudes and beliefs, concepts, perhaps relationships, attitudes, connections, truth, honesty, respect. Those are the things that really count. You're going to be okay because you already know you're going to be okay. You know you're going to be going through a bit of a churning as you restructure, literally restructuring your own life, perhaps significantly to do with finances. And you know what I was talking about earlier? If there's any debt, for example, do anything and everything possible to reduce, eliminate debt. Eliminate anything that is a burden or anything that puts too much weight on the foundations of your new life going forward, so that, hold on, let me go back to you. Okay? So that it's like learning how to live in a much lighter, simpler, more purified way. You might call it like, minimalism, or like what I've done. I've made some big sacrifices in my life because I made a decision. I don't want to be a debt cow on the debt farm. I live on the debt farm, but I'm not a debt cow. I feel like I have my own little piece of pasture onto the side where I'm not so subject because I don't carry any debt. I deliberately made decisions to remove the heavy burdens of debt, any kind of debt, cars, schools, colleges, mortgages, credit cards, health, any of those things, they're all gone. I live in a very simple, very modest, cash-only lifestyle. It's not for everybody. In some places you just can't do that. In some familial situations you can't do that. But what I'm suggesting here with the Six of Swords is that the way to handle your current situation is every day to filter things, filter. What is it that I don't really need? What is it that I don't really want? What is it that is untrue? What is it that is a burden? And just basically say, okay, those have to go. And everything becomes lighter and simpler. And it becomes easier for you to navigate through your life because there are fewer burdens. And you actually can get a greater sense of wealth and abundance by lightening things up. I hope that makes sense. Okay? Okay. So Nikki, I hope that makes sense for you. I did not sense anything from your own guides. I felt it was very personal, one-on-one between you and me. I've got my own invisible friends here, but I felt it was a kind of very simple, pure, serene, one-on-one thing. A very, very graceful. I felt a lot of graciousness in the reading here, and all of this is very doable, but we just had to put some language around it so it makes it easier for you to navigate your life going forward, especially given the transformations that you are going to endure. Okay? Thank you, Nikki. And thank you for your kindness. Next up, We have Slejana Zivanovic. Yeah. Did I say that right? Okay. It says, oh yeah, I see the notes. Hey. Okay. It says here, Slejana Zivanovic. You pronounced my name correctly. Yeah, we are a small country on the Balkan and nobody likes us. I am very much excited about this. Thank you very much. Lots of greetings for you. Welcome, Slejana. Thank you for being here. All right, here we go. Slejana, there we go. We're going to do, I think, I'm just going to give you a blind reading, okay? You don't have to tell me anything. We're just going to go for it. Okay? Whatever messages need to come for Slejana, that's what we're going to do here right now. After Slejana, we're going to do In Edwards. I hope you're still here, hanging out. Thank you. Yeah, Nikki, what I felt with this message, it's as though, this is going to sound really strange, but this is kind of what I was feeling in the message. I have to tell you personally. What I was feeling is though, it's like meeting at a coffee shop, but more like a mystical Zen coffee shop, where whoever goes there to get a reading, you get your own tiny little booth and everything is very, very serene. Very, very, very serene, very pure. There's no contamination with sound or people or noises or anything. It's just it's like a little Zen garden cafe, and it's just you and me and my invisible friends, and just very simple, pure and gracious, like this kind of feel. Yes. Yeah. It's that's kind of the vibe I felt, and sort of bless you, go on with your day kind of energy, you know? Almost as if we're wearing some kind of like spiritual Zen monastery kind of clothing or something. That's the visuals that I had. All right, Slejana, let's have a look here. Let's have a look. Thank you for your kindness and generosity, people. Okay, yeah. Yeah, let's do it. After that, JS, no more. So just do the super chat, JS, and however you do it. Yeah, put whatever it is, $10 in the super chat, something like that, and I'll put your card over here. Let's just put JS. Okay, I'll keep an eye on the chat. JS, thank you. Okay, Slejana, here's your reading. Here we go. Let's see, 2, 1, 2. Actually, you know what, JS? You're right, because I have an appointment. Oh, you're going to PayPal? Okay, all right, let's just do it. Let's do it. I think I got enough time. No worries. Time. Tick, 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 tick. It's one of our most valuable assets. Yeah, JS, you can do it through tarotlumination.com. There's a little button you can go through there where it says donate. You can put $10 in there, something like that. Okay. Okay, good. All right. No worries, JS. Thank you. Actually, you're kind of letting me off the hook here a little bit. Well, we'll do this on Sunday, okay? Thanks, JS. All right. All right, let's have a look. That was funny, your nose. It's a small country in the Balkans, and nobody likes us. Aww. Thank you for being here. And let's see what kind of message. Oh, okay. All right, thank you, JS. So I have to keep a note for you anyway. I have to keep this over here for Sunday. All right. Thank you. Oh, it's like a prepay. Cool. All right, let's have a look. What kind of messages do we have today here for Slajana? So, you really don't have to do much of anything, Slajana. You can just hang out there. This is how I do all the readings. I just keep a very, very simple spread. This is my situational spread. It's like diagnostics. What I do with this spread, okay, like, you know, like if you're a car, let's say you have a car or a bicycle or a motorcycle or something, or something like that, and you know there's a problem or something, but you're not sure what it is. You just feel it, like, it doesn't sound right, or there's smoke, or something's wobbling, or there's some red lights flashing. And then you take it into an auto shop, and they plug it into the diagnostic box. It's usually like a little black box, and they plug it in, and it does all sorts of magic, and it figures out what is the problem. And then once you know what the situation is, then you can add energy to find solutions. So that's kind of what we do here. That's why I call it my situational spread. What's the situation? So it could be anything, okay? It could be absolutely anything. Finances, relationships, health, destiny. I'm going to do it again because I got distracted with my own chitter chatter. Hello, Yvonne. Hi, good to see you. Okay, so JS, we'll see you on Sunday. Cool. All right, let's have a look. Let's see what's going on. Sometimes it's very puzzling, Slajana. Sometimes it's very interesting. Sometimes it's shocking, surprising. We never know. We're just going to do it. Here's the situation. Here's the challenges. Here's how we're going to handle it. And let's have a look at the weather for you. When I look at the weather here, inside of myself personally, I'm mostly concerned about the astrological elements. Okay, so let's have a look. How does it work with you? Okay. Yes, I think so. Yes, JS, that's correct. Yes. Love and healing. Okay, here we go. Oh, look at that. So you've got the Queen of Cups here. All right, so there's a lot of question marks here. A lot of question marks. Let's just get it out there, okay? So Slajana, what I'm seeing here is kind of like a mirror. If you want to see, this is the Queen of Cups, okay? And to me, what I'm feeling is that you are a very old soul, okay? You've lived many, many lifetimes, and you have a lot of maturity in terms of deep heart, soul energy. And that's just fine. Well done. The question is, right now, here today in this lifetime, it's like, okay, thank you, Tarot Illumination, but what exactly am I supposed to do with all of that? And that can be a real problem. That can actually be a very serious problem. I know it sounds strange for me to say it this way, but if you're not used to hanging out on this channel, I have these sort of slogans that I use a lot, like be loving, be loved, you are loving, you are loved, and so on. And one of the challenges that some people have is that deep inside, they are very, very naturally, what I would say, kind of like pure. They have an abundance. They live deeply in their heart center. And they don't necessarily know that they're doing that. They're just kind of that way. They've made decisions in their life to, live from their heart. They've already gone through the evolutionary processes of making the mind the servant of the heart. So now you are here. You are this woman living deep from the heart center, okay? And there's the problem. It's because not everybody is like that. The vast majority of people, from what I can tell, live from the neck upwards. Whatever's in their brain is the equivalent of life. If they're frightened, that means the world is a bad place. Or if there are bad things happening, that means their life is in danger. But you can live from here to the point where, it doesn't really matter what's going on out there. You can still live from the heart center. And my feeling here with the Queen of Cups is you've already done that. You're now living in this lifetime. Well, I have all of this energy. I have all this love. I've worked for this. I own this. It's mine. But what am I supposed to do with it? It's to me, it feels like a bit of a destiny reading. Like it's almost as if you're here, we would be having a question like, hey, Tarot Illumination, what am I supposed to do with this? How do I share this? Because the reality is, if you've watched the channel, other people who are not you, they have to be ready, willing, and able to receive the healing power of love. They have to feel worthy, open, and deserving to receive love. So you, Sledjana, you might have all the love in the world to offer, but it might be very difficult to share because other people have great difficulties in receiving love. Okay? For the energy to flow, people have to be able to give and receive love. We have to transmit love and receive love. Some people, all they ever do is they give out love and then they deplete themselves. It's kind of like a slow form of suicide. Some people, all they do is suck up the energy and they deplete the givers of love. That's not fair either. The idea is that on this channel, we ask for the healing power of love to fill our bodies, our minds, our hearts, our souls from up above, so that we own the love energy here, and then we become very discerning and measured in how we share that love. But if you're living in a world or a situation or a family or an environment or a relationship where the doorways are closed to love, okay, the people are not ready, willing, able, they're not open, deserving, or worthy to receive love, then it makes it very hard to share, okay? So that becomes a problem for you, because it's like, what a waste. I have so much love to offer, but if no one's willing to receive, what's the point, So, what's the situation itself? So, with the Five of Cups here, if you are in a situation, okay, Sledjana, where you've had a recent experience or a trauma or a loss of some kind, perhaps in love, a relationship, a family member, a boyfriend or a girlfriend, or a pet or somebody or something where it's affecting you deep in the world, where you would feel it as grief, deep, deep pain and suffering in your heart, then I think what this situation here is indicating is that if you are suffering in your heart, okay, if you're suffering here in the heart center, it's very, very important that you acknowledge it, okay? It's very dangerous if you hide this or if you pretend this is not there. So my feeling is the situation right now is that this little reading, just 2 cards, the big message is you have to reveal it to heal it. So if there's a lot of pain inside of you, a lot of grief, suffering because of losses, loss of life, home, family, relationships, loved ones, or something like that, it's very, very important that this comes to the surface in full recognition of you, okay, so that you can deal with it, because life will go on, okay? But at the moment, the energy of grief needs to be addressed, okay? Now, what's the problem here? In other words, you might be very sad that there's no one who is willing to accept your love. Or you might be very sad that you have lost someone with whom you've shared a lot of love, okay? Something like that. Okay, let's have a look over here. What's the problem itself, okay? Oh, you might also have like really, really deep issues of worthiness yourself, okay? It's like a deep fear. Oh, you just said something. I just ended 11 years relationship, and it's very painful. Okay, if you ended it. And so you might be in a state of shock right now, and there's this deep fear of going forward, like, am I ever going to recover my inspiration, my light, my dignity, my womanhood, my sovereignty of self, my ability to inspire myself, my ability to inspire others? Am I a lost cause? In other words, to me it feels like you noted on the screen here that there was a very painful ending to a long relationship. So it would be very natural for you to be deeply locked up in fear about the ability to transmit and receive love ever again. Am I ever going to get back on top? Am I ever going to be the light in my own life again? Can I ever have the chance to reclaim my own magnificence? Okay? And if you are frightened that that's not going to happen, or that there's very little chance it could happen, that could amplify the grief and the suffering. So it turns into this like wheel. It just gets worse and worse and worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. Ah! Okay? Understandable. Okay? But it's not the end of the story. Okay? You've still got little Two of Cups. So how are we going to deal with it? Because it's not the end of the story here. You have to me it feels like you have a very, very strong energy, very, very strong. I like, what's that word? Slavic, like where the women have to be very strong. Deep inside, sometimes women would rather just be soft and feminine, but it looks to me like you're a person who's made decisions that you're going to be strong. You have to be strong. You have to be very much your sovereign self, the woman that you are, no matter what. Even if it means going through the deep pain of ending a relationship. Life will go on. So how are we going to deal with this? Okay, with the Tower here, the best thing to do is basically let it all happen. Let the devastation occur. Allow yourself to implode into the pain, okay? So, like with the Tower card there, some people might say this was inevitable. There was a point probably in your relationship, for example, or in your life, where you knew that things were just going to go. And maybe, just like on a ticking clock, the time has come. And so, like with the Tower card there, the Tower card, from my perspective, in some ways, is a very powerful healing card. Because what it's doing, it's like the energy of stripping away anything and everything. Just it's a complete demolition. It's like going through a hurricane, a lightning storm, a thunderstorm, a flood, a fire, or something like that, where it just demolishes everything in its path, and it gives you a chance to restart and grow from scratch. You know, like in agriculture, in some countries in agriculture, once they have harvested the crop for that month or that season, they will burn the field. And it's very scary. But what happens is they burn all the rubbish that's left over after the harvest, and that rubbish, all that burned stuff, turns into very, very valuable minerals that are like fertilizer for the new growth, for the new season. It's a very brutal kind of transformation, okay? But that's kind of like the tower energy here. So yes, it's a very painful purging kind of energy, but it's ultimately for your growth, okay? So you have to live through the pain. It's almost like the message is for you to become immortal, to understand that you will rise again. You will come back into your femininity. You will come back into your personal girl power. But you have to go through the pain that you're dealing with right now. You can't escape it. The worst thing that you could do is try to avoid the pain or try to hide the pain, like take drugs and alcohol or do crazy stuff to distract yourself from the pain. The best thing to do is live, to dive into the pain, embrace the pain, bring it on, and demolish everything, and then come out the other side and start life again. And that's how you do it. So don't be scared of the tower. The tower card here for you is all about redemption. It's about accepting the devastation, the pain, and the loss. And it's basically like saying, bring it on. Bring it on. Bring to me all my pain and loss and sufferings that I have to endure, so I can endure this and live through this so that I can come out the other side again and start a new life. Okay? Because there is new life. I'll show you. Over here. Okay? See this? You still have all of this. And there's a whole new bridge over here to a whole new world. But right now you're stuck over here. It's okay. This is very much about time right now. Recognizing your femininity, the power, the healing power of love. And the healing power of love in action. And going through the process of revealing it to heal it. Revealing the pain and suffering, living it. Like for today here right now, this is a very public place. You have confided and shared with us here today that you've just ended an 11-year relationship, and it's very, very painful. Well, you're doing exactly the right thing. It looks to me like you did exactly the right thing to end the relationship, and now you have to live through the pain of separation and loss, and you come out the other side. It's like a purging. You'll be okay. You're going to be okay. You will figure it out, okay? Thank you, Slajana. So I'm going to shuffle this up. I hope that makes sense for you, Slajana. Now we're going to read for N. Edwards. Okay. Clear the decks, everybody. We're moving on. So Slajana, come and visit us again, okay? Next Wednesday we'll have another show. It's probably too late at night for you on the Sundays, because I do the Sunday night shows. But definitely I hope to see you again on next week. Thank you for visiting here, and thank you for having the courage to get a live reading. Okay, Ann Edwards, I just want to make sure you're still here. I hope you're still here. Let me just check the chat a second. I'm going to scroll through, see what I can find over here. I haven't seen anything there, so I don't know. If you had to go off, if you had to go somewhere and you can't make it, don't worry, you're still going to get your reading, okay? Yes, you see, Slajana, it's okay. You're going to be fine. Yes, that little Two of Cups, you could see, Slajana, you could see that little Two of Cups as the birth of new love on the other side, okay? Once you get through the pain and the suffering, you will heal. You will recover. You will get back into your femininity, your full strength, your full light, your full love, your full inspiration, and you will love again. You will be loving, you will be loved, okay? Think of that as the little Two of Cups. Very pure, okay? Oh, there you are. I see you now. I see you on the chat in Edwards. All right, let's have a look. You've been to this show before. I recognize that name. All right, what kind of messages do we have today for N. Edwards? Capricorn Sun, Capricorn Ascendant. Oh, yes, I said I would come back to the chart. Yes, I did, didn't I? Put it over here. Okay, so that's for the world. It's coming up in August. That's for... You know what I'm going to do? Because this is kind of for the whole of the Leo season. I'll just do this one for now. This is for today. So I'm going to base your reading on today's notes, okay? So what I did, I made this a solar chart for Capricorns, okay? So, Ann Edwards, if you're born with a sun in Capricorn and the ascendant in Capricorn, your birth chart is going to be affected by this type of energy. This is like what would be the transits. These would be the transits that are sitting on top of you right now. So obviously you are being very heavily impacted, okay? So you might be learning and experiencing a lot of things in relationships, intercommunications between yourself and certain very significant other people in your life. And how does that help you discover more and more about who you are? Because you are changing. You're going through a very long, slow, perhaps uncomfortable period of radical transformation, and there's no going back. You've already been living through the eclipses. We just had the final round of eclipses for the Capricorn Cancer axis. It's finished now for the next 19 and a half to 20 years, okay? So at least you've got that over with. But it's like you're starting a whole new journey here. So if you, in your life, Edwards, are feeling like a lot of very slow, deep, shifting changes, like at the movement of tectonic plates, and then every now and again a very, very shocking awakening, okay, over here with Uranus and Taurus, luckily that's harmonious for you. So you might have you might be in a situation where there's a lot of really deep, profound changes happening in your life, and some exciting new changes in like creative self-expression, business or ideas, you know, whatever, art, music, writing, private enterprise, where every now and again you would have these like weird synchronistic experiences of being more and more inspired for life and what you're going to do with it. Okay, I'm going to shuffle it up a little bit more. I have a family member who is a very strong Capricorn, and they are going through huge changes in their life right now, and it's kind of comforting. I know they can handle it because they're very strong, but For other people, it's very, very difficult. Let's have a look. Okay, what kind of messages do we have here today for N. Edwards, given everything that we were just chatting about? Here's the situation. Here's the challenges. Here's how we're going to handle it. Okay, I need to concentrate here. Okay, we need to concentrate, N. Edwards. Just want to make sure. Okay, thank you. Do we need a little bit of presence? Let's make that happen. Let's just bring that in. Okay, what kind of messages do we have for N. Edwards today? Okay, we have the Tower again here. So this basically doesn't surprise me at all. It's almost like a big yawn. Okay, sure, all right. But this is, I don't see this as a sudden flash. I see this as more as a rolling thunder kind of energy. And it would be very appropriate for you and Edwards, like this, where if you feel like, oh, wow, man, I just went through a whole pile of SHIT, and now I'm recovering. Wow. And then all of a sudden, you get slammed again. Like, what was that? Where did that come from? Did I ask for that? Did I deserve that? Oh, well, now I have to take care of that stuff. And so you take care of that and you think, whew, wow, yeah, man. Sometimes it's tough being a Capricorn Sun and Capricorn Ascendant, especially with all this Pluto, Jupiter, Saturn stuff happening, especially right now with the Capricorn Moon coming up. But guess what? I can handle it. Ooh, whoa. What just happened? And it's a continuous rolling. It's just like being like a long rolling thunder, lightning thunder, like a big, heavy, slow-moving thunderstorm type of energy. But then again, if you're aware of that, then you don't have to be a victim. You just have to be aware of it, and then what do you do with it? Okay, you make the best of it. Okay, like anybody would. You don't run in fear. You make the best of it. Okay, so what's the situation exactly? So if, for example, let's say parts of your life, okay, yeah, look at your note. How much more pruning, growth, and healing can I possibly do? Mercy. Well, we're not at the end of the cycle. It depends upon, for example, N. Edwards, the exact degrees of your sun, the exact degrees of the ascendant. I don't want to go into that right now because it's going to be too much work. But please, N. Edwards, understand, at least for the next, let me do it this way. Okay. See this energy here? This is what is sitting right on top of you right now. There's all this other stuff, but this is where the big, heavy pressure lies, okay? And for you, it's like this in your sense of self. Like this unrelenting sense of a bulldozer just grinding back and forth through your life, destroying anything and everything, and then you have to restart again. It's a continuous ongoing thing. It's been going on for years, and we still have roughly another 4 years, okay? This one here, okay? This is Pluto, okay, right here in Capricorn, and it's going to take another 4 years to go from here to here, okay? The moon goes from here to here every 2 days, like here, but Pluto takes 250 years to go through this. The moon takes 28 days to go from here back to here. Pluto takes 250 years to go from here to here. So it's very slow. So yeah, if you're feeling it, okay, if you're an early and a late, like early sun, then this is going to be very spread out, okay? You could say that this tower energy is being spread out over an extended period of time, okay? So it's not the most comfortable energy, but it's something, so long as you're aware of it, then you can grow from this, because basically what the tower is doing, it's a gift to you. It's just ripping and shredding anything and everything that is obsolete, redundant, and fake, or unhealthy about your life and your world, so that you can have the chance for restructuring. Okay, literally restructuring, just in the way that I wrote the book. Global restructuring, it's the same thing. Personal restructuring. What's the situation? Okay, well, we've got the Two of Cups here. So, Ann Edwards, if you're not in a relationship, a specific relationship, then you might want to look around you to see if there's anyone in your world who would qualify for, let's say, I would say, some kind of very pure, like platonic type of relationship, or at least the very, very early stages of a budding relationship. Something very pure, very, very blessed, very compatible. I don't know if that's in your life. You don't have to answer the questions, or it might be that you are seeking, like it might be that what you're looking for, if you don't have it yet, you might be wishing and looking for a pure something. Oh, it says you're engaged. Okay, well, this is a beautiful thing. To me, this looks like it's good news, okay? So it looks to me that there's a lot of purity, innocence, and goodwill. A very kind of it's very sweet, very romantic kind of thing. So in some ways, you're very, very lucky. A lot of people on planet Earth would wish to even just have a taste, a glimpse of this. So if you're engaged, okay, waiting on the K1 visa approval. Okay, cool. So this is very much in focus right now, and of course there's a process of dating and being engaged and all the patience and the waiting, and then an actual marriage itself. And marriage, as you know, it's a binding contract. So over here, okay, so the energy of relationship would be it's kind of, I would guess, the Mercury energy over here is happening right now. This is your solar 7th house of relationship over here. So the relationship dynamic is very, very strong in your life right now, and all through the Cancerian season, where we just left for about a month ago. The sun would have been shining on this part of your life, love and relationship. So it looks like a good omen for the future. Okay. Now, what's the challenge here? You said about the K1 visa. Okay, so with the Knight of Wands here, I'm not stressing about this, but it feels to me like there is this concern, like, well, what if it doesn't happen? What if the visa is not granted? Okay, is my knight in shining armor going to be able to come to me at all? Am I going to be able to go to my partner? Can I go to them? Can they come to me? Is this heavily at risk or not? Oh no, oh no, oh no. This could be fear, obviously. But it looks to me like it goes both ways, because you don't really know until you know. I mean, you're engaged. You've got this engagement thing going on right here. It's life-changing for you. It's life-changing for the other party. But an engagement is like an agreement to contract. You haven't signed the documents yet. It sounds like you're not going to be able to get married until the visa is granted, and you can either go to them or they can come to you. So whatever that looks like, you would have every reason to be scared for the engagement and the relationship, just in case the visa is not granted. For example, if it's a very challenging relationship situation, and the visa relates to a country or a nationality or a passport that has a lot of issues with the United States, for example, or wherever the country is that you live, then obviously the risks of the K1 visa not being granted increase, and so you become very frightened of this thing not working. But remember, this is fear. It sounds like if you just, in a very Capricorn way, You just keep moving forward in a very deliberate manner. Think of the goats and how they climb mountains with very, very calculated, deliberate steps, one tiny step at a time. Sometimes it's high risk, but they typically do not make those crazy bold jumps and leaps until they already know that they're going to land in a strong place. So my feeling is to tap into your Capricorn energy, give yourself a lot of time and a lot of patience to do this, and then trust that it's okay. So how are we going to do that? Okay, you live through the fear. You're going to have to do it. You're going to have to accept that there is nothing that can really appease you right now except the living through of the process. Living with the fear, whatever it is, live the fear, live with the fear, feel the fear, but do it anyway. You keep going anyway. Somehow or other, I guess what you have to do is like a little invocation, something like, okay, so you go through this shadowy place where the only thing that's basically guiding you and protecting you in the relationship is these profound, primitive animal energies that bring one person to another. I'm not saying animal is bad, but what I'm suggesting is that when we, okay, here we go. When we as creatures, as human beings, when we decide that we want to form a relationship with someone else, and we're not just doing it as a random hookup for thrills or spills or boredom or distraction or obligation or whatever, it's a chosen relationship where two parties are deliberately choosing to come together, knowing that there are challenges and limitations. With that Two of Cups, to me it's a good indication that this is very pure and wholesome and good, and it is imbued with love in the very pure sense. However, as a lot of us know, relationships go all over the world these days. Not all relationships just happen with the neighbors, your next door neighbors. They come from all over the world, and a lot of people are finding ways to integrate their lives through relationships that are from disparate areas of the world, different cultures, different regions, whatever. So let's just admit it. There is a lot of fear involved here. Like, is this going to happen? Are we going to do this or not? Okay? But so that you don't become a victim of it, here's a way you could look at it. Just imagine you've made a decision to set off on this journey. You're over here, and you're heading in this way. Okay? You're going to get there, but to me it feels like you are already past the point of no return, so you just have to keep going. If you look at this card, sometimes I like to play with this card. I like to pretend that these are two big skyscraper buildings over here, or like in an amusement park, and there's a big tightrope that goes between the two towers, and you're over here, your new life is over here, but to get from here to here you have to go across this tightrope, and it gets very scary. I think you've already set off. You already know the challenges. You already know that your life is going to be shifted and changed and transformed, but you're past the point of no return. You're actually over here somewhere, and you can't stop. You can't look down. It's too scary, so you just keep going forward and pretend you're a tightrope walker, and you just make this your destiny. You make sure and you hold on to it. You accept that you're scared and you're frightened that you'll ever get there, or that that you will ever be able to get to them, or they will ever be able to get to you. You keep going anyway, okay? Face the fear and do it anyway. Face your fears and keep going anyway, knowing that it's scary, but you're going to be okay, okay? Because you do have the guidance of intuition. You do have the guidance of, I would say, your invisible friends, your gut animal instinct, okay, has brought you together. Yes, patience is very tough. Okay. So, yeah. Engagements and marriages are life-changing, okay? It's going to change your life. It's going to change their life. It's drawing you to another person is being drawn to you. You're facing the hurdles. You're facing the scary process of getting from this what I would call lifestyle package deal over to a new lifestyle package deal. You have to go through the process right up to the very last second, to the ceremony itself, the wedding itself, the signing of agreements, all of that. So it's official, okay? You can do it, but it's scary. So just live with the fear. Do it anyway. Just be loving, be loved. Continue to believe. Continue to trust, even though you might have reasons to be scared. Trust and believe anyway, okay? Thank you. Yeah. You have to kind of trust that love will win. Love will prevail some way, somehow. Okay, I'm going to put all this stuff together. I'm going to shuffle it all up. And then we got to wrap it up. It's going to be a very quick, short time. I'm going to play a little song called Wonder Ride for Nikki, and then we got to go. Okay? This is what it looks like. There it goes. I think it's this one here. Let me have a listen.
Okay, we are rolling. So, this is a birthday present for my sweetheart.
Let me see.
So, this is
here we go.
A birthday present for my sweetheart.
All right.
Just wanted to share this. Okay.
It goes like this, people.
It's called Wonder Ride.
It's called Wonder Ride at the amusement park.
My dear, this is my birthday present to you, to celebrate the day that heaven made you. It's remarkable that we both found one another. The day we set out on our transformation ride with each other at each other's side, it soon became evident that we are both changing. And it's such a wonder ride, my dear. Yes, it's such a wonder ride. Hold on tight, tightly, my dear. And now that our journey, it starts to unfold in a multi-dimensional world of untold delights that truly defy the imagination. You've naturally taken it up on yourself to document all of the nuances that go to make up a story of extraordinary proportions. And it's such a wonder ride, my dear. Yes, it's such a wonder ride. Hold on tight, tightly, my dear. Yeah, it's such a wonder ride, my dear. Yes, it's such a wonder ride.